Prime Derrick Rose was the most athletic point guard we've ever seen.
What?
Too strong for most point guards, with a mind-blowing first step, D-Rose was able to explode and fly in the air like he had springs in his legs, bending the laws of physics night after night. For 3.5 years, he was the most electrifying player in the NBA, serving some of the most disrespectful dunks we've ever seen. And then, in the first game of the 2012 playoffs, Rose fell to the floor of the United Center, holding onto his knee, his face twisted in agony. Derrick Rose, as we knew him, was over. Not officially over, as Derrick Rose played for 12 more years, with some legendary moments, like the playoff game winner against Cleveland, or the 50 points he scored for the Timberwolves. But Derrick Rose, as we originally knew him, ceased to exist that fateful night in 2012. And his story remains one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history. Because if Derrick Rose had remained healthy, he probably would have been one of the top 5 point guards of all time. In 2008, the Chicago Bulls had only a 1.7% chance of getting the number 1 pick.
The number 1 pick in the 2008 NBA draft will be made by the Chicago Bulls.
But the luck of the lottery smiled upon them, and they got the chance to draft their hometown hero. Born in the south side of Chicago, one of the most dangerous and crime-infested places on the planet, Derrick Rose had a tough childhood. Rose grew up in a 5-bedroom house with a single mom and 3 brothers, but up to 13 people would live in the house at one time. His 2 older brothers were drug dealers, like a lot of other young kids in his neighborhood. But Derrick didn't want that life. His drug of choice was basketball, and he spent most of his time playing ball at Murray Park, also known as Murder Park, due to the number of killings that had happened there. And even though he was surrounded by guns and narcotics, Derrick was protected, and the neighborhood gangs never gave him trouble, partly because they were scared of his mother, Brenda, who protected Derrick like an angry wolf would protect her cub, and partly because he was a local celebrity. From an early age, everybody knew Rose was special and had a chance to make it out of the hood. I was the best kid in my neighborhood at a young age. My whole life, I was always the one everyone was talking about. I've never really wanted the attention, but it has always been there. As a high school junior, Rose led his high school Simeon Career Academy to a state title with a buzzer-beating jumper in the finals.
He's going one-on-one. The loft, the score! Derrick Rose with the bucket.
In his senior season, Simeon won the title again, with Rose averaging 25 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds, and 3.5 steals. And Derrick finished his high school career with a record of 120-12. He was wanted by several major programs, but he chose the University of Memphis because of Coach Calipari, and because he believed they would prepare him best for the NBA, which was the only thing on his mind since he was 12. With Rose on the team, the Memphis Tigers started the season with 26 consecutive wins, finishing the regular season with a 33-1 record, and were the number 1 ranked team in the country. Rose led the Tigers to the Final Four.
It's UCLA taking on Memphis, 2 number 1 seeds. It's really a matchup between the point guards of Derrick Rose and Darren Collison,
where he scored 25 points and 9 rebounds to lead the Tigers to an 85-67 win over UCLA. In the national championship game, Rose scored 17 points, along with 6 rebounds and 7 assists, but Memphis lost the game in overtime. Despite missing out on the championship, Rose's talent and winning pedigree were undeniable, as he won 92% of games in high school and college.
This the state championship trophy that we won last year, and these are some of the fellas that helped get this trophy.
Due to a controversy over Rose's SAT test, which he probably didn't take at all and had someone else take the SATs for him, the entire Memphis 08 season was deleted from the NCAA record books.
The SAT board themselves, they do an independent investigation. They conclude that the handwriting on the SAT does not match up with Derrick Rose.
Still, despite the controversy, all the NBA teams loved Rose's game and his potential. However, before the 2008 draft, there was a huge debate on who was a better prospect, Rose or Michael Beasley.
I see Rose and Beasley. Why are these 2 players creating so much buzz?
We know who the first 2 picks are going to be. We're not sure exactly what order. The decision is going to be between Derrick Rose and Michael Beasley.
But the Bulls believed in their hometown point guard, selecting him with the first overall pick.
The Chicago Bulls select Derrick Rose from the University of Memphis.
as Rose became just the 5th point guard in history to be selected first overall. And after the first month of the season, it was clear that Chicago made the right choice. The pressure of being the first overall pick meant nothing to Rose, who came out of the gate fearless and ready to dominate. No point guard in the league could match his speed, and when given an inch of space, Derrick would explode to the cup for a thunderous dunk. And even if the lane was closed, Rose still found a way to finish through contact with an unreal ability to contort his body in midair, moving past, over, and sometimes under defenders. It was something cultivated on the concrete playgrounds of Murray Park, where there were no referees and guys trying to take his head off to stop him from scoring. When we used to play in the park, there were no fouls. That's why I shoot the crazy shots I do, because I knew I was going to get fouled, but I still got to make the shot. Averaging 16.8 points, 6.3 assists, and 3.9 rebounds, Rose propelled a mediocre Bulls team to the NBA playoffs, almost unanimously winning the Rookie of the Year award. And in the opening round of the playoffs against the Boston Celtics and their Big Three, Rose immediately proved he was not afraid of the moment. In Game 1, he scored 36 points, which tied Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points for a rookie in their playoff debut. Although the Celtics had been the best team in the NBA and would go on to win the title that year, Rose and the Bulls pushed them to 7 games, in arguably the most electrifying series of the playoffs. Rose improved his numbers from the regular season, averaging 26 and 6 on 49% shooting. But it wasn't about the numbers with Derrick. What Rose showed as a rookie was resilience and fearlessness with each drive to the basket, something that was ingrained in his character, and something that was reminiscent of the best days of Allen Iverson. You could foul him hard and put his butt on the floor 100 times, but he would get up 101 times, dust himself off, and keep attacking. And this kind of bravery and mental fortitude propelled him into superstardom. And when the 2010 season started, Rose took the reins and became clear leader of the Bulls, giving Chicago a taste of excellence and hope that they hadn't felt since Michael Jordan. Even though he was an introvert who didn't speak much, Rose spoke through his actions, leading by example, and his fighting, never-back-down spirit permeated through the entire team. Rose made his first All-Star team, with averages of 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists per game, leading the Bulls to the playoffs again. However, in the first round of the playoffs, LeBron's Cavs proved too strong, winning the series in 5 games. Still, Rose shined, once again proving that he was one of those players who only got better in the playoffs, averaging 27 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists per game.